Released by Square Enix in 2011 on the PlayStation Portable, written by Ichiro Tezuka and directed by Yoichi Yoshimoto, who also directed Brave Fencer Musashi and Musashi Samurai Legend, Final Fantasy IV Interlude would bridge the story and events between the first game and its true sequel, Final Fantasy IV The After Years. It was bundled with the PSP port of Final Fantasy IV The Complete Collection and features exactly the same system as the first game. Though very short and very linear, the game still sets up important characters and events for the sequel. The story only gets large from here, so let's cut it down to size with a recapitation. The game begins about 1 year after the events of Final Fantasy IV, in which we see a dark crystal chamber with a shadowy image of Rydia appearing briefly before collapsing. As a strange voice claims to have found a new form and begins to identify itself, King Cecil of Baron is woken up by his queen Rosa, who reminds him today is the celebration day for the reconstruction of Domcian Castle. As they get ready to go, Cid and the Red Baron's air fleet escort them with their old airship, the Enterprise. Meanwhile, in the Fey March, Rydia informs Queen Asura she's also planning on attending the Domcian celebration, and as she warps away, Cecil, Rosa, and Cid arrive safely to the celebration. King Edward greets his friends graciously before Palom bluntly shifts the tone to a more casual one, and they all mingle like old times again. Discreetly, Cecil asks about the crystal kept in the castle, and Edward assures him all is well, as he allows Cecil to inspect their fire crystal. As he leaves, something still seems off to him, and suddenly a guard informs him a group of monks on Mount Hobbs have been assaulted, and King Yang leaves to investigate. Cecil has a bad feeling and opts to join them, and Rosa as well, and as they arrive, they find the guards barely alive. They were on their way to make a report about Yang's wife Sheila when they were ambushed by a dad bomb, of whom attacks again. The group fends off the explosive foe and continue onward to Fabule, where it turns out the urgent news is that Yang's firstborn is about to be delivered. They are just in time for the baby to arrive, and with it being a girl, Yang asks Cecil to be the godfather and name the child. Cecil accepts the honor and names the first princess of Fabule, Ursula. At this time, their former airship they left with the dwarves, the Falcon, comes flying in with Cid, Hallam, Porum, and the dwarven princess, Luca, on board. They bring the bad news that monsters have begun pouring out from the sealed cave, and the dwarves cannot stem the flood alone and request aid. The Elder of Mycedia sent Palom and Porum to help, and Cecil agrees to help as well. Strangely, Rosa seems suddenly stricken by illness and is left behind to rest as the rest of the group mobilizes. At the same time, in the Kingdom of Ninjas, Eblan, King Edge takes his leave even though the party in Domcian has already ended, and, on the Falcon, the group hopes nothing has happened to Rydia and Edge, who never showed up amidst all the incidents suddenly occurring. As they navigate the caves down to where the dwarf's crystal is kept, they fight another moving demon wall that has made residence here, and in the chamber of the dark crystal they find Rydia collapsed like Cecil foresaw in his dream. She wakes up and seems strangely distant, insisting they are calling her. She looks towards the Tower of Babel and they notice the former lunar elevator is beginning to shine with new life again. As they begin to investigate, Edge is actually in the Eblan cave that connects to the tower, investigating things on his own and confirming his suspicions of new activity here. The dwarves are taking no chances, lining up the tank battalion outside the tower as Cecil and crew move in. As they ascend the tower, Rydia separates from them and they find there are indeed minions within causing trouble. Clashing against a tough robotic foe, Edge fortunately reunites with them mid-battle to tip the victory in their favor. After the fight, he mentions he also noticed the tower glimmer as well, likely because someone is trying to turn it on again. They catch up to Rydia, but Edge notices immediately this is not the real Rydia, and the imposter turns her summons onto the group. Defeating the quartet of Shiva, Rama, Ifrit, and Titan, the group is pushed to their limit as the imposter suddenly summons the King of Dragons, Bahamut, against them. At this time, a strong mist rolls in and a mist dragon appears to not only reveal the true Rydia, but also snap Bahamut back to his senses as he withdraws. Back on their feet, the group clashes against the mystery woman and her strong magic, but just before they truly defeat her, she vanishes away. The group is still at a loss for her real identity, as we see then the woman appear in the crystal chamber atop the tower, reporting that the Eidolon system is now complete before vanishing again. As the game concludes, things seem to have calmed down enough for everyone to reconvene back to Baron Castle, where Cecil checks in on Rosa. However, it turns out she's not really sick at all, and is instead confirmed pregnant. Everyone is overjoyed to hear the good news, and as Cecil is prompted to start thinking of potential names for his first child, we now see the Dragoon Knight Kain on Mount Ordeals be beckoned by a strange voice. Final Fantasy IV Interlude has enjoyed the success of selling over 120,000 copies worldwide.